All right, let's get into it. We're about to tackle one of the most, and I mean most, heated topics in the entire travel world. It's a debate that flares up on every single cruise ship, it explodes in every online forum, and boy, does it get personal. We're talking about cruise ship tipping. You know how it is. You see these pictures of incredible floating cities, you book that dream vacation, and you're just imagining yourself by the pool, drink in hand, total bliss. But before you even step on board, there's this one little detail about money that honestly trips a lot of people up. And that right there brings us to the question that can literally start a war online. Should these things be automatic? Should they be mandatory? Or is the whole system just, well, broken? Let's figure this out. So let's talk numbers, because this is really at the heart of it all. Most of the big cruise lines will automatically add a daily gratuity to your bill. We're talking somewhere between $14 and $20 per person every single day. Think about it. For a family of 4 on a week-long cruise, you're looking at hundreds of extra dollars tacked onto your final bill. But this is where things start to get weird, right? I mean, when a charge is automatic, when it's preset, and it gets added to your bill no matter what, can you honestly still call that a tip? Or is it something else now? And this is exactly where the definitions get all tangled up. A normal tip, the kind we all know, is supposed to be voluntary, right? It's a reward you give for great service, and you get to decide how much. But a cruise gratuity? That's automatic. It's charged daily. And the amount? Oh, that's already been decided for you by the cruise line. This is the real conflict. Has it stopped being a tip and basically become a mandatory service fee that's just disguised? You know, this whole debate has spun off a bunch of really tough questions that cruisers are constantly wrestling with. So let's just rapid fire through the biggest ones that always seem to come up. Okay, first, the big one, the fundamental question. Shouldn't the cruise lines just pay their crew a decent living wage? A lot of people argue that this would just solve the entire problem. Now, it's complicated. You've got international maritime laws and different pay structures, but it really boils down to this. Is it the company's job to pay its staff, or is it okay for them to pass that cost directly to you, the passenger? And that brings up this immediate problem for you, the person on the ship. Because, yeah, the cruise lines let you go to guest services and have those automatic tips taken off. But let's say you had one grumpy waiter. Is that really enough to justify taking money away from the cabin steward who was amazing and kept your room perfect? It's a really tough call. And maybe you think, okay, I'll just tip in cash to the people I like. But then that brings up a whole question of trust. A lot of us prefer to hand cash directly to the staff we think earned it, but there's always that little voice in the back of your head wondering, are they just required to pool that cash anyway? Does the person you wanted to reward even get to keep it all? This also shines a light on something kind of weird about fairness between passengers. So, someone from a country where tipping isn't a thing might just remove the charges and not think twice. To them, it's just an optional fee. Meanwhile, people from places like the US, where tipping is huge, feel like they have to pay it, and they often tip extra on top. So, are they basically subsidizing everyone else? And that idea of fairness goes for your cabin too. I mean, think about it. A guest staying in a giant suite with a personal concierge and way more space is getting a totally different level of service than someone in a tiny little inside room. So does it really make sense for everyone to pay the same flat rate gratuity, or should it be scaled based on your room? And you know what? Let's just be totally honest for a second. Forget all the other arguments. When you walk up to that desk to remove the gratuities, is it a smart financial move to keep your vacation budget in check? Or is it kind of unethical because you know it directly hits the wallets of the crew who work so hard? All of those questions are so important, but they all seem to circle around one single, explosive idea. One question that completely changes how you look at this whole debate. So here it is, the real kicker. Are cruise tips even about tipping anymore? Or has this just become a business model? You know, kind of like those resort fees at hotels, a clever strategy to advertise a lower price up front because they know a huge chunk of their labor costs are going to be covered by these mandatory charges on your final bill. This just reframes the entire thing. It stops being about etiquette and starts being about corporate finance. So after all that, after looking at the definitions, the ethical problems, the whole business model underneath it all, it really just comes down to one final decision. Where do you stand on this? This is it, the ultimate question.
Should we just accept cruise gratuities as a mandatory, non-negotiable part of the deal? Or is it time to blow up the whole system, abolish it, and demand that cruise lines build all their costs, including paying their crew a fair wage, into the ticket price from the very beginning? There is no easy answer here, but it's for sure a conversation we all need to be having.